Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap, and this is the mega revision series of NABARD Grade A 2021. And today we'll do lecture number 4. Hi Millie, good evening. Okay, so as said in our announcement section also, and I'll repeat it again, what we will do, because this is a mega revision series and it contains top 200 questions that are important from the exam point of view, which has been made by the thorough analysis of the previous year questions paper. So in this particular series we will cover questions, but we won't give the thorough explanation because this is a revision series for you all to check how much you have prepared for the examination. And if you haven't not, you can know about the important topics with this particular series. And of course, when you study from a MCQ format, there are more chances to retain that, right? So yeah, hi Jitender, hi Emmanuel, good evening Darshan, Aniket and Neela, right? Okay, so to our new audience, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you never miss any video. And to get the PDF of this particular lecture, do join our Telegram channel, the link to which is given in the description box. EduTap has come up with a comprehensive course. In this, we have covered 3000 MCQs of both ESI and ARD part of the NABARD Grade A 2021, which is the new, which has come up with a new pattern, right? So in this particular course, you'll get all the government schemes, reports, agriculture related questions, ARD, rural development, current affairs, everything. And to know more about this course, or if you want to buy this course, you can check out the link that is also in the description box, right? And again, because when you learn in a quiz format, the chance you retain more, and this is the best way for now, because very less time is left to learn the topics in a better form, right? So let's start with question number 1, and it says a situation when the seasonal rainfall received over the area is less than 75% of its long-term average value. So what the following of the drought name that have been mentioned in the section, you have to guess the right one, which the kind of drought it is said when the rainfall at that particular area, it is 75% of its long term average value, means the average which comes, right? So Subhajyoti says it's 1, and who else? Jitendra says C, and come on, write fast. Abhishek says 1. Wisdom says meteorological drought. Okay. So the correct answer to this is meteorological drought. Okay. So what we do, we'll cover all the names that have been given in the section, in the options, so that you have better understanding of this particular thing. Okay. So this meteorological drought, when is it? What happens? See, in a particular area there is rainfall, right? Average rainfall, it would be every year, right? But what happens if this time it was 75% of what actually it rains in that particular time? Then it is known as meteorological drought. I hope this particular thing is clear. Okay, now what happens? See, if the vegetation it exists in that particular area, and the rainwater, it helps in what? It helps as a natural irrigation, you can say. Anyway, irrigation, it is an artificial application of water, but what the plants, they rely on rain for its for the growth, right? And the water, it also helps to replenish the lake and other reservoirs and the water table that is present in that particular area. Okay, now what happens? So this is meteorological drought when the 75%, when the rainfall is 75% of the normal rainfall. Now what would happen if the rainfall is less? So of course all the natural vegetation, including plants, animals, the people, everybody, they would rely on now what? They would rely on the reservoirs. Reservoir means where the water is reserved. The plants, they would depend on the water table for water. So what happens after some time, this the water that is stored in the particular area in different forms, for example in the form of lakes, in form of water table and anything like that, it would start to deplete, right? Because after all the consumption of them is now happening. So this particular thing, now when the reservoirs and the other water bodies, whatever the water that was stored before, now they have started to get deplete. Why? Because of the prolonged meteorological drought. Prolonged means for the longer time. Okay, so this type of drought now is known as what? Hydrological drought. When the reservoirs now they are depleting. Okay, now what would happen after some time, means for prolonged time, when the prolonged time meteorological drought would happen or would remain, then it would lead to hydrological drought, right? Now, for if the hydrological drought it would remain for a much longer time, now what would happen, the plants, because they are also present in a limited amount, right? In case of reservoirs, so after some time they would also start to deplete, right? There would be scarcity of this reserved water. Now that would lead to what? Now that would lead to agricultural drought. What is agricultural drought? In agricultural drought, hello, am I audible and visible? Hello, am I audible, students? Okay, I guess there was some technical issue. If you can see me and if I'm audible, kindly give a thumbs up in the comment section. Right. So, right, Sai say okay, Jitendra says okay. Yeah, so all good. So where were we? Okay, so I'll start with agricultural drought again, because we somehow lost the connection in between. So what happened in hydrological drought? Now the reservoirs, they are now what? They are also in limited number. Quantity, right? So what would happen after some time? They would start to deplete. Now it would create stress on what? On plants, right? Because now plants, they do not have water for that, because this is all happening when the meteorological drought has occurred, right? If the rain it would start to come, of course then every situation would be like that, right? Okay, so what would happen now in agriculture drought? There would be stress on plants. Uh, okay, so before that, apologies for whatever technical issues we are facing in today's section, right? Because it's not visible, right? So yeah, so Sai, is it full screen now? Do tell me if is it. And I'm facing this technical problem today. I don't know how. We'll check on it after the session. So what would happen now? This hydrological drought, it would lead to the agricultural drought. Okay. So this now what would happen? The plants, they would feel stress, and that is what our agricultural drought is, right? Means the water now, it is deficient for the water, for the plant, for a proper growth. So what would be the outcome of that? The outcome would be the, you can say, the lesser yield than it should be, right? So all these things, they come under agricultural drought. Now this agricultural drought would further lead to what? It would lead to socio-economic drought. Now the people of that particular region, they are also affected. Why? Because first of all, the water is not there for their consumption. Apart from that, it affects economy. How? Because most of the things that we make, the raw material, it comes from the agricultural section, right? So if this agricultural section, it is hampered due to anything, due to the agricultural drought, then there would lead to what? Socio-economic drought. So I hope you understand these four topics. Do tell me. Right, ma'am, everything is clear, right? Perfect. So everything now leads to what? Leads to the socio-economic drought. So is this topic clear to you all? Right. So next, let's come to question number 2. That is, what is the salinity range of brackish water that the brackish fish can tolerate? What is a brackish water? Brackish water is basically the water body that has saltiness, right? Or which has salt present in it, more than the fresh water, but lesser than the sea water, sea or ocean or whatever. Okay, so brackish water, you can say it kind of in between the both of the two. Okay, and you have to guess that what is the salinity range of this that the brackish fish can tolerate. So the fish that exists in that water is known as what? That is known as brackish fish. Okay, so the correct answer to this is option number 1, that is 0.5 to 30 ppt. Here ppt means parts per ton. Okay. So brackish water, again, as said before, it is a water having more salinity than fresh water. So fresh water is the normal water, that of a river. Okay, but it has not as much salinity as that of a sea water. What is salinity? When salt, it is present in the water. Okay, and the salinity, it ranges from 0.5 to 30 ppt. Okay, ppt is parts per ton. That is the unit that has been assigned to the particular measurement of the brackish water. And now we come to question number 3, which asks what is the full form of ATARI, that is Atari, that we call in short form. You have to guess the full form of this particular institute. Okay, so let me say, right. Okay, so the correct answer to this is option number 1, that is Agricultural Technology Application Research Institute. Okay, so what is the role of it? If I go for simple terms, it would be lab to land program. And now what is it? Lab to land program means lab is basically a room in which all the scientists, technologists, whatever you want to say, they work. Land means the actual fields of agriculture. Okay, so what this, as the name suggests, agricultural technology application. So their role is to focus on the technology, and a technology which would be useful in what? Which would be useful in agriculture. Okay, so this particular, if we go for what are the aim or whatever the things that particular this institute do, it first of all plans whatever technology that could be required, then it monitors. So what it does, first of all, testing would happen, right? So this particular institute test what the new technologies that can be incorporated in agriculture, and how useful are they? So first they plan it and they do test of it in a field. Then what do they monitor, if is it working accordingly, or if the right. Then comes the reviewing means then to check that everything is fine. Monitoring means just to have a look on it, or just to supervise is everything is going smoothly or not. Then comes reviewing to check if it is doing what is it has been made to done. That comes under reviewing. Then comes evaluating is kind of like feedback, that yes, it has attained what we wanted, or the changes that could be done. So this is the function of what? This is the function of Agricultural Technology Application Research Institute. And then when finally a technology now has been set up, like yes, this could be useful in agriculture field, then how it is implemented, or how it is given to the farmers, or how it becomes accessible to the farmers, it is through these technologies. They are implemented through Krishi Vigyan Kendras, that is KVKs, Krishi Vigyan Kendra. This is a sub organization of ICAR, that is the Indian Council of Agricultural Research, which is our apex autonomous body for agriculture sector in India, right? So Krishi Vigyan Kendra, they act as an intermediate between all the scientists, whatever the new discoveries, findings, these scientists, technologies they do, and then they introduce everything to whom? To the farmers. So this is the role of KVKs. Okay, so this is done. So everything about application research, technology application research, it is done by this particular Atari. But then it is time to implement these things, to finally to make it accessible to the farmers. Then comes the role of KVKs, or this Atari. They introduce every new technology to farmers via KVK. Okay, I hope this particular thing is clear to you all. Okay, next question, it says the edible part of a potato is. Okay, so you eat potato, so is it a modified stem or root, a leaf, or a corm? So you have to guess it. Okay, so the correct answer, to as most of you say, okay, it is option number 1, that is modified stem. So I have also incorporated a picture here so that you have better understanding that why it is not a root, even though it is grown under the soil, right? So what happens, see, as you can see here, these roots, they are different, right? They are different part, they are the different part, and then these potatoes, they are the different parts. Now what happens, it's not like that that these are roots and from here only the stem occurs. There, if you ever have uprooted a plant, you would observe that a small portion of stem is also present there, right? And then from there the root, it emerges. Now this small portion that is below the soil or under the soil is known as what? This is known as stolon. Okay, now in case of potato, this stolon, it is modified into stolon is also a stem, but it's just the name is given to it because it is inside the soil. Now this stolon, it modifies, or it bulges out and to store food, and this particular bulged stolon or stem is known as what? Is known as potato. Okay, so as you can see here also in picture also, and this is all written in the explanation, that why is it a stem and not a root. And secondly, to identify if any vegetable is root or not, you have to check it out. For example, in case of radish, you can see there are roots present. If this is the radish, you can see roots, they are present in it, so it is a root. Okay, and in case of carrot also, you will find roots like such, so those are the modified roots. But in case of potato, it is not a root, but it is what? It is a modified stem, and it is visible in the picture also. I hope this particular thing is clear to you all. Now we will do question number 5, which says, which of the following fruit are naturally parthenocarpic fruits? What is a parthenocarpic fruit, or what is a parthenocarpy? See what happens, the general process is flowering would occur in plants. Then the male counterpart, that is the pollen grains, they would fuse what? They would fuse the female part. Basically the ovum is the smallest unit that is used in the case of fertilization. Then what would happen, these two, they would combine. The process is known as fertilization, when the male and the female counterpart, they the germplasm, okay, the germplasm would be the right term, or the germ cell would be the right term, and germplasm is it is made after that. So when two germ cells, they combine together, then fertilization, the process is called fertilization. Now after fertilization, this fruit, it would start converting into a fruit. Okay, this flower, which was present, now this flower will convert into a fruit. Okay, now in parthenocarpy, what happens, this fertilization process, it does not take place. So the the flower, it converts into the fruit directly. Okay, I hope you understand this. Okay, so why it is why it occurs, how it occurs, it all is a natural phenomena, and the plant, they have done this for survival. Okay, this is genetic modification, or it's their way to have to survive in this world. What is parthenocarpy? When the fertilization does not take place and the flower, it converts directly into fruit. And it is notable that how to check if the particular particular fruit, it is parthenocarpic or not. The parthenocarpic fruits are seedless in nature. Okay, so the correct answer to this is option number 4, that is all of the above. Okay, so this is what, this is a parthenocarpic, this is all the explanation, and this is the same which I described above. Okay, and pineapples and figs are other examples of the parthenocarpy, okay, that occur naturally. And in fact, now the parthenocarpy, it is now induced in flowers or plants, to get, why is it done? Of course, to get seedless fruits. And imagine, what would you prefer, a watermelon with a lot of seeds, or a watermelon without seeds, right? So that is why now parthenocarpy, it is induced also in fruits, and by applying plant hormones such as gibberellin, auxin, and cytokinin. These three hormones, they help in the development of the plant. How? Cytokinin, it induces, or it increases the cell division capacity. Auxin, it helps in apical growth of the plant, and gibberellin, it usually it helps during the flowering stage of the plant. So you just have to remember that these are plant hormones which help in the growth. Okay, and parthenocarpy is this. So all these, they were the example of this. Now question number 6, it says Khera disease in rice is due to the deficiency of which of the following nutrient? Okay, so you have to guess among the following, that which of the following. We have in every lecture, we are covering at least one question where we are asking about a disease related to plant, right, due to the deficiency of particular mineral, because that has been asked repetitively in your examination. So you have to guess which of the following nutrients does so. And here people say 1, 2, 2, 2. Okay, so the correct answer to this is option number 2, that is zinc. Okay, here's a picture of it also, how this particular deficiency, it reflects the symptoms in the plant. Now what happens, as you can see, the various symptoms of this is due to Khera disease is due to zinc. Now what are the symptoms that is shown, such as dusty brown spots under leaves or stunted plant. Stunted plant means it the growth stops. When the growth stop in plant, it cannot grow more in height. In terms of height, it is known as a stunted plant, or stunted leaves. Okay, or whatever when term stunted is used, it means its growth has been stopped. So you can see brown spots, dusty brown spots means if you touch them, you feel that it would appear as dust. Okay, and apart from that, we'll have plant growth would be patchy and poorly established in field, means there would not be more growth. Okay, spikelet sterility in rice, it means spikelets are basically the portion from where the grains occur, right? So that particular portion is sterility, means now they are not able to reproduce. Now they have lost that ability to reproduce, and if they cannot reproduce, the grain, because grain is the result of fertilization, as discussed in previous question also. Because fertilization does not take place, seed were not formed, right? So similarly, these grains, they are what? Seeds only, so they would not be formed. And in case of rice, what do we eat? What do we consume? Those grains only, right? So if spikelet sterility is reduced, so that would not be done. Okay, so not getting properly. So Saurabh, it is what? Khera disease is a disease which you can see in the slide. Okay, and this particular disease is caused due to the deficiency of what? Due to the deficiency of zinc. Deficiency means when this zinc plant, a rice plant, it requires zinc for growth. Now the soil, it is deficient in zinc. So if it is deficient in zinc, plant won't be able to consume it. Okay, as our body, it shows symptoms when we are when we lack nutrient minerals inside our body shows symptoms like hair fall, poor skin poor skin health, right? And brittle nails, everything. So plant, it also shows symptoms because it lacks that particular mineral. So here, if zinc is not present, so it will show symptoms like this, that is that appears in the picture as well. So what are these symptoms? Such as brown spots would be there. So there are some, as you can see here, these are the brown spots, and if you touch them, as when you touch a flower which has pollen grains, you will find a dust in your hand, right? Similarly, if you touch these brown spots, your hand will become dusty, your fingers will become dusty. So this kind of dust or appearance, it shows when the plant, it is deficient of zinc. Apart from that, what it is, the spikelet sterility is what? Spikelet is what? The upper portion, right? If this is a plant, here the grains are here only, pardon for my drawing, but here somewhere here, right? But now what happens if it is deficient in zinc? What would happen? The particular spikelet, it would be sterile means it would not be able to reproduce, and if it not be able to reproduce, seed would not be made, as we discussed in previous question also. When fertilization happen, then only seeds are formed. And what do we eat of rice? We eat grains only. Grains are what? Seeds only. Those would be formed when what would happen? When there would be fertilization. So everything now, this is this could not happen due to this. Okay, so this is all about Khera disease. I hope now this is clear to you all, especially Saurabh. Okay. Yes, there are a lot of diseases that are associated with plants. What you can do is go for the important plants. What are important plants? Rice is important, then wheat is important, maize is important, sugarcane. Instead of going for every variety of the plants that exist in agriculture, just go for important crops and cover the diseases of that particular crop only. Next question says, in which year the National Action Plan for Climate Change was launched? So this particular program, it was launched in which year? That you have to guess. And the correct answer to this is option number 5, that is 2008. Now what is this? As the topic or the name itself suggests, it is an action plan for what? It is an action plan for climate change, for to focus on, to adapt to the adverse impact of climate change, to make such habits which are useful in the case of this climate change. For example, it was launched in 2008 and it has 8 missions under it. So for example, you go for National Solar Mission. For now, we are dependent on much on fossil fuels, right? Now what we do for electricity purpose or for whatever purpose, for fuels also, everything we are dependent on for now fossil fuels. But if we go for solar mission, if we adapt this sustainable method of using sun for our use, then it would help to fight what? To fight climate change. Or even if it does not reduce the climatic change that has already occurred, it would not push it further, right? So these are the 8 mandates, submissions that have been made. Next is National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency on Sustainable Habitat, National Water Mission for Sustaining Himalayan. These are the names. Green India Missions means these are the 8 sectors that have been made, so that much of the focus would be given to each these 8 sectors, because they are very important when it comes for the climatic change. Okay, so next question, it says, first Krishi Vigyan Kendra was established on pilot basis in which of the following cities in India? Krishi Vigyan Kendra, as discussed before, these sub categories of ICAR, they help to do what? They help to transfer all the information that the scientist has gathered, or the new technologies, new methods, whatever have been incorporated or which have been made or invented in a lab, to transfer or to introduce them to the farmers. This is a function of KVK. And the first, that was the pilot, means the first basically. So the first of the KVK was set up in which of the following cities or UTs or whatever. Okay, so most of you says for the correct answer to this is option number 4, that is Puducherry only. Okay, so as I said only, I have already explained what is a KVK and what is the role of it, and Puducherry was the first place. It was under the administrative control of the Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, Coimbatore, and it after that, what were 18 KVK, they were the proposal was passed by the planning commission to establish 18 kvks during what? During the fifth 5-year plan. Okay, so I hope this particular thing, it is clear to you all. If you still have confusion, you can ask me. Now next question says, question number 9, which says the optimum temperature requirement of rice plant is, as I said before, and as I guess Saurabh also asked, that there are so many diseases, what to focus on. Similarly, there are so many vegetations, what to focus on. Go for first of all, go for the main ones. For example, rice, wheat and maize, sugar cane, and then we have what we can go for: black gram, lentil, right? All these which are main, chickpea. And apart from that, you can also go for the crops which are somehow, which are in news. For example, cotton has been in news recently, because this time we had a great export of it. So you can study cotton, or you can go. The thing which I want to convey is, whatever is in highlight or in news, you can go for those crops also. That could be asked. There are either two ways, which is very common plant, or it is either which is in highlight. Okay, so the correct answer to this is option number 4, that is 32°. If we go for in general, for every agricultural plant, or all, yeah, most of the agriculture plants, the temperature, it lies between 15 to 40 degrees centigrade. This is in general range. But if we go for specifically rice, the minimum temperature required is 10 degrees centigrade, means it cannot tolerate temperature below 10 degree. Okay, what? Rice. And then if we go for optimum, it is 32 degrees centigrade. In some books or some sources you can find 30 to 32. Then again it is a range. Here then you have to focus what the option has been asked, right? If the option had because the option would never be 30, 31, 32, because that is again a range. If I had written 30, then you could have said, yeah, 30. So optimum can still go for 30 to 32, because you cannot get a hard and fast temperature in a particular region, right, or in a particular area. But if the question has asked about a specific, then 30 to 32 is that specific optimum range for rice. Okay, but it can still, this is the optimum, means this is the best for rice, but it does not mean it would not grow above or below it. As said in explanation only, this 10 degrees Celsius, it can survive up to this, but after that it would not be able to survive. Then again, maximum temperature can be 36 to 38 degree, it cannot survive above it. Okay, yeah. So the next question now, it says, which tree is famous as queen of timber? So which of the following options it is known as the queen of timber? The name has been given to it, and you have to guess it. Okay, yeah. To get the EduTap Telegram link, see in the description box below. Okay, so the answer to this is teak. It is known as the queen of timber. And if you go, why is it called so? First of all, it is a hardwood tree. It basically means it is hardy in nature. It is quite tough. Apart from that, it is a high quality timber species. It is of very high quality, first of all, with high resistance to decay. It means it do not decompose easily, or it does not decay easily. Apart from that, and insect damage, so it does not have much effect of insect damage. Okay, it is highly resistant to decay, means it does not decompose easily, and it has a very, it is of high quality, means uh, quality, how can I say this? See, if you're going for 10 100 rupees top, and if you're going for 1000 rupees top, you can, both are made up of cotton, but still you can differentiate between the quality, right? So similarly, if we go for the trees varieties or species that are used for what, that are used for timber purpose. What is timber? Timber are basically woods that are used for commercial purpose. So timber is not just teak, it is any wood that is used for commercial purpose, that is known as timber. So queen of timber, why? Because this is the best quality of timber that is available, and it is resistant to decay and insect damage. That is why it is known as queen of timber, because this is so perfect, and it is used in, it can be used for making ships, because it is resistant to decay, means if even the, it is subjected to water, it easily does not decompose or rot. Okay, it is that is why it is used to make bridges, railways, construction, pilings, plywood, for anything that that requires hardiness, this particular wood, it is used. Okay. So next question will come, will now do the next question, and the next question says most suitable tree for matchstick industry is. So matchstick, it is made, and you know, it is made up of a stick or a wood. You have to guess that among the following options, see, there could be more than one option, but here among the following option, which is best suitable for the matchstick industry. Okay. Yeah. So the correct answer to this is option number 3, that is poplar. It is a kind of a tree. Okay, so there are 3 species which are mostly used, that is poplar, pine, or aspen wood. These 3 are name of trees. Okay, and why they are used? Because of their light color and ability to splinter. This is the most important factor, ability to splinter. Splinter word means to break down. So in matchstick, you have to you see, no, there is a particular shape, and they're quite small in nature. So if we go for other wood, it would be difficult to maintain that shape, to cut down to that shape. But these 3 varieties of trees, what they do, they have a great ability to get transformed to it, to splinter, and that is why this particular thing is this particular tree variety, it is used to make matchstick. It is specially very famous in India, and it makes up to this particular business, it gives return to, you can look at it, 2,50,000 rupees per hectare per year. Okay, and it is what, it is the backbone of vibrant plywood, board, match, and paper industry unit. So it is used in, because it can, again, it can change into, you can say, different shapes accordingly. That is why it is used in ply, or you can say industrial purposes. Okay. So this is all about this particular poplar variety or kind of tree. Now we'll come to question number 12, which says ICAR NRC banana is situated. Yes, NRC is National Research Center. So again, every year a question has been asked from this particular category, that which institute is situated where, and that is why I'm trying to incorporate at least one question every day, so that if you don't know, you'll get to know from this particular section. So you have to guess the answer, which says, that is answer is option number 1, Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu. So it's in Tamil Nadu. Okay. So yeah, so this particular, it is all this center, it is all dedicated to what? It is all dedicated to banana, and of course it is under ICAR, because everything, every institute, every agricultural thing that is that exists in India, it is under ICAR only. And what is the role, or what is the aim of this particular institute? It is to increase the production and productivity of banana, to increase the production and to get the maximum out of the minimum. That is what productivity means. Productivity means in a particular limited area, how maximum you can grow out of it. That is what a productivity means. Okay. Apart from that, so what it focuses on? It focuses on crop improvement, crop production, post-harvest management. What is post-harvest management? Means harvesting means when the particular maturity stage of crop that we require, it is received, we cut that down, right, for selling purpose or for consumption or whatsoever. So that particular phase is called harvesting, when we cut down the crop or the grain, whatever we require. After, what happens with it, how do we store it, what applications we do to it to preserve it, that is known as what, post harvest management. So it focuses on that also. So in this lab, whatever things happen, tissue culture happens, then biotechnology, soil science, whatever, means anything that is related to banana, what modification it requires, what not, everything it is done in this particular center, and it is where it is in Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu. Okay. Now we'll come to question number 13, which says jackfruit is commercially propagated by. So jackfruit uh, is a plant, right? So you must have seen that in Hindi it is what, kathal. And then you have to guess that among which of the following options it is propagated commercially. Commercially means when it is grown or sown at a larger scale. Okay. So the correct answer to this is option number 4, that is seed. So what happens commercially, it has been observed that when the scientists, they try to propagate jackfruit in what, in vegetative propagation, they tried doing so, it was not successful. So only best way of it is to do via seed. So vegetative propagation means when one part of the plant it is sown, and then the new plant emerges from that, that is the vegetative propagation. So this layering, cutting, budding, all three are vegetative propagation. Okay. And this seed, it is from the seed only. What happens in layering, if there is one plant, suppose there is one plant, this is the soil, and this, what would happen in layering, this particular branch of the plant, it is bent down, it is made to bend down, and then it is what, it is then buried in soil. Okay. After some time it would emerge out as a new plant. Then what would happen, the farmer, he would cut this down. Now we will get two plants from the single plant, that is known as what, that happens in layering. Then in cutting, what happens, it is most common in rows, you must have observed the plant, it is cut from it is a stem is cut off it, and then that stem, it is sown in the soil, and then new plant, it emerges from it. A common example is rose. Then comes budding. Bud is what, before flowering there is a small bud, right, that occurs. So what happens, bud, not in flowering also, but when a new stem is trying to emerge, a small portion you must have seen, that is the bud. So in bud, what happens, the bud of one variety, it is cut down, and then it is attached to the another variety. So it is in this way it is modified, the new variety that would now become or that would now flourish, it would be modified, it would have the features of both this bud and the plant to which it is attached. So this particular thing is called budding. So this is about the vegetative propagations and that of seed. And in jackfruit, what we follow, seed. Yesterday we did of coconut, right? Day before yesterday we did of coconut, and you have to tell me in the comment section that coconut, it is propagated with what. Now question number 14, it asks forking is a word related to. So there are various terminology that is used in agriculture for different things, in horticulture, agriculture, whatsoever, right? So you have to guess that forking is also a term that is used in which of the following crops or vegetables. Vegetables are also crop when they are cultivated for commercial purpose. So the correct answer to this one is yes. So this is option number 2, that is radish. So what is forking? I'll show you. It happens both in radish and carrot. So I found a picture on carrot. This is a picture of carrot, but the phenomena of this forking is similar both in radish and carrot. You must have observed that instead of having just one root, okay, there are so many, so this is known as fork. As similar to your fork, that is known as kata, right? It has different sections. So similarly, when it happens in this either radish or carrot, this term is known as forking. And how it happens, there are two reasons for it. First is due to the excessive moisture during root development, if it is excessive moisture present in the root, or second case could be if the soil it is very compact, if it is hard, the root it would require more force to move down. So what happens, this particular thing, so the root they get divide because there is lot of compactness. So two reasons why this forking it occurs in root plants such as radish and carrot. It is due to the excessive moisture present in root development and also due to the compactness of soil. When the soil it is quite compact. Okay, so I hope this particular thing it is clear to you all, that what is forking and how is it formed. Yes, Sagar, because all these questions they have been made analyzing the previous year question paper, and means you cannot get below these questions. It would be either, because saying that 101 we can guarantee 99.9%. If there is something more than that we can guarantee, but you cannot really rely 100% on a organization that is conducting exam, right? Because they are this time coming with a new pattern, but for now, for past many years this pattern has been followed, and the questions they are made accordingly this pattern, the pattern that the NABARD gives every year. Okay, so you can rely on these questions. Now this question says, which of the following is causal agent of bird flu? Bird flu, it happens as the name suggests in birds. This is a kind of flu, and there is a new video that has come today, that is the important breeds of poultry. You can check in, the link is you can find in the description below, and that particular video it composed of the varieties or the breeds of poultry that are important. Those could be asked in the form of examples, or to which class category they belong, that you can find in that particular lecture. And the correct answer to this is option number 4, that is the avian influenza virus. Now what is this? This is the name given to is H5N1, that is the name given by the scientist to this particular virus. Water birds and migratory birds. What are water birds? Birds that live in water or around it, and migratory birds are which move from one place to another. Okay, they act as carrier and spread infection, means they carry it does not affect them much, these water and migratory birds, but what they do, they act as a carrier, means they help to transport that virus. Now the bird flu is highly contagious and also affect ducks and turkeys. Now what they would do, they would transfer it to the other birds, especially chicken, and if the effect of flu it is severe, it would affect ducks also, and it would affect turkeys also, and it has unusual mortality reaching to 100%, and there are 100% chances of death if this particular flu it infects a particular bird. Okay, and what are the symptoms that they show? Watery diarrhea is frequent, so diarrhea occurs to the birds, and they are excessively thirsty because there is a lot of loss of water, that is why they become thirsty also. Then respiration, it becomes them difficult to breathe, and apart from that, hemorrhage may occur on unfeathered areas of skin. What is a hemorrhage? Hemorrhage you have mostly heard in the case of brain, but what is hemorrhage? It is when the water stops flowing, the blood stops flowing from that particular portion. So from the unfeathered areas, means where the feather are not present, from that area hemorrhage may occur, means the flow of blood can be stopped to that area, and mortality is from 50 to 100, and that is why you must have heard that during bird flu people they avoid eating chicken because that is infected with the virus. Next question 16, it says ethanol is used as a blended fuel with. So now because we are progressing towards a more sustainable way to fight climate change, to fight the global warming, right? So we have now devised new techniques to live our life as better as it was before, but or better, right? So ethanol, it is a kind of compound that is used for, that is blended fuel, means that is mixed with one of the following to make it sustainable. So the correct answer to this is yes, option number 1, that is petrol. And how, first of all, this ethanol is formed? This technology is basically for now followed in the much developed countries, and ethanol, it is formed from corn in case of United States, and from sugar in case of Brazil. Now what would happen? It would be mixed with petrol, and then this particular combination is known as what? It is known as flex fuel or flexible fuel. This term is given to it. So it is mixed with petrol, so have to have better way or sustainable way to run cars or vehicles so that it does not harm the environment. Okay. So question number 17, it says which of the following is not a type of conservation tillage? Okay, so tillage, it is basically of two type. One is conservative. Sorry, one is conservative, that is mentioned in the question, and second one is conventional. Conventional tillage is a form of tillage. First of all, what is tillage? Tillage is the mechanical manipulation of soil. What is mechanical manipulation of soil? When the new field, when you want to sow a particular crop or the seeds of a particular crop, you must have observed the farmer, they run the field with the tractor, right? Or not even a tractor, with the animals, right? You can say to do up and down of the soil, to loosen it. And apart from that, it also helps to expose all the insects eggs if they are present in the soil. All right, apart from that, weeds, they are exposed, and due to the effect of sun, due to the heat of sun, they die. This is what a tillage is. Now tillage is of two type. One is conventional, one is conservation. Conventional is which we are following for years, which have been always following, that is conventional tillage. And one is conservation tillage. What is conservation tillage? Because see, there are drawbacks of tillage also, the most being the soil erosion, because the whole field, it is exposed to the wind. There are high chances of soil erosion, and that is why the scientists, they have decided to limit it. So this particular method is called conservation method, in which we would try to limit tillage as much as possible. So here the answer is option number 2, that is the summer tillage. First we'll go for summer tillage, then we'll understand the rest of the following. Okay, so summer tillage, this usually occur where there is the rain fall is less, and there is much you can say hot climate. So what happens, the farmer, because monsoon in India is very uncertain, rainfall is very uncertain. So if what happens if imagine in a field rainfall occurs, but because that particular area is hot and the water there is less, the surface of the soil, it would be very hard, it would have hard pan, right? So what would happen, the water, it would just flow outside, it would just flow forward, it would not percolate deep inside the soil, right? So what happens, the farmer, what they do during summer season, they just do tillage. Tillage would help to loosen up the soil, and then they would wait. If the rain occurs, that is pre-monsoon showers, it is known as that monsoon is a particular season, but before that sometimes rain also occur. So for that pre-monsoon shower, they do tillage in summer, so that when the water comes, it can percolate deep in the soil. So this is a conventional method, because we are just exposing it to the environment. While the minimum, zero and rotary tillage, they are the form of conservation tillage. In this, what happen, in minimum tillage, we try to, so tillage can also be done, tillage can be categorized into primary tillage and secondary tillage. Primary tillage, see, if this soil, it is hard pan, in primary tillage, it would break down into these pieces, means big lumps. Then we do secondary tillage to break them down further, that is known as secondary tillage. Okay, so in minimum tillage, and then we can do it more than once. For example, one time for sowing of seeds, one time before sowing, and then time one for sowing, then one time for fertilization application. So we can do multi-purpose time. So minimum tillage means to reduce the number. And how to reduce it? For example, to mix the fertilizer and to drop the seeds at one time. So minimum tillage means that. Zero tillage means not at all doing tillage. And then how do you do the other intercultural operation, see, one the crop which belongs to one season, it would grow only in that season, it would not grow in the second season, right? So what happens, field is untouched, so the previous crops, they are there only. After a while they would die, because now the new condition, environmental condition, they are unfit for them, which would add manure, sorry, which would add what, nutrients to the soil. Once they would decompose there, all the nutrients that were available in the stubble of that plant, they would die only, and they would mix with the soil. And for the new crop that has to be sown, only that line, if this is a field, and in this row, these rows, I have to sow the seeds of the new plant, what I will do, I'll just dug up only that portion only. So that what happens in zero tillage. Apart from that, whole field is remained untouched. Then comes the rotary tillage. In rotary tillage, what is done, I said no, that first, and there are two tillage, that is primary and secondary. So rotary tillage, so rotary vehicle is a device which would help, not device, is a kind of tractor which would help to do the primary and secondary tillage at one go. So it has such equipments attached to it that would break down the soil into finer particles at one go. So this rotary tillage, it is also done to do so. Okay, see, this is how rotary tillage look like. If I could change it. Okay, so in this you can see the farmer, he is doing that, right? Now we'll come to question number 18, which says drip irrigation was introduced in India from. So drip irrigation, it is a type of irrigation that is sustainable to preserve water, and you have to guess that this technique we have introduced from where. Okay, so tell me the answer. Okay, so people saying Israel, D4, Israel. Yeah, so correct answer to this question is Israel. Okay, so what is drip irrigation? As you can see, this particular technique, it is usually followed in areas where there is scarcity of water. So what happens in drip irrigation? Only the water, it is provided to the roots drip by drip. So that what happens, see, if you are just normally, you are giving water into the field, it would go down. See, if this is the root area, if the root area is only till here, but this water, it would go down if it is the case of normal irrigation, right, due to the effect of gravity. Yesterday we also studied about, day before yesterday, about the different forms of water that exist in the soil. So what happens in drip irrigation now, in a place where there is already scarcity of water, if we go for normal irrigation, the water would go down, and the root, it would not have much water available for it. So what this particular technique do, it will provide area, and then this particular water, it would remain till here only, because it is drop by drop going into the soil, it cannot just percolate deep inside the soil. So water, it is available in the root zone, which helps to plant the plants to grow. And this particular technique we have adopted from where? We have adopted from Israel. Okay, now question number 19, it says a wind speed of dash kilometer per hour is suitable for most crops. Wind is also required for proper growth of plant, and you have to guess the range of the speed of the wind, that is quite essential for the plant growth. And the correct answer to this is option number 3, that is 4 to 6 kilometer per hour. Okay, and the explanation, it says, see, why we need wind, what is the importance of wind? Because it supplies moisture, because moisture, it is present in the soil, and when it comes, so moisture, a plant, it gets moisture from the soil also. It provides heat is required for the normal condition, right? If we'll provide much cold conditions to the plant, it would not survive. So heat is required. Then fresh CO2 for the photosynthesis, and fresh CO2, the wind also provided to the plant. Now the wind flows at the speed of 4 to 6 kilometer per hour, is suitable for most crops. This particular range, it is suitable where the plant does not get damage. It is a perfect speed that is considered for plant, because in high speed there would be a lot of damage to the crops, right? The fruit, they may fall, flowers may fall, and then the stem of the plant, it can get damaged. Okay, it can bend down, it can break. So all this happens if the speed is more than that, and this is considered the best for it. To the last question that we have of today, marble is made from. So marble, it is a kind of rock, and you have to guess that it is made from what? See, rocks, they are of 3 types. Okay. The first category is called igneous, then comes sedimentary, and then comes what? Then lastly we have metamorphic. As this is a revision series, I just tell you in one line what does it mean. Igneous means uh, the rocks that are formed from the effect of lava. When lava it comes out, after a while it cools down, right? So after that, whatever the lava, now it in the solid form, now it is cooled down, it is known as what? It is known as igneous rock. What are sedimentary rocks? Sedimentary rocks, due to the effect of water bodies, when the rocks they get transported from one place to another, and now what would happen in sedimentary, the water body, it would carry it along with it. Now this rock, or which is now at a different place with different environmental condition with water over it, so they would develop into different, they would change its chemical composition, and then those type of rocks are known as what? Those are known as sedimentary rocks. Lastly are metamorphic. Now both igneous and sedimentary rocks, they can change their form due to the different climatic stress that is provided. Metamorphic rocks, they are formed from both igneous and sedimentary rocks. So marble is one, belongs to one of the following category. As it says, marble is made from, so basically marble would be what? It would be a metamorphic, right? So marble, it is made from limestone. Marble is a metamorphic rock. Because we have already studied metamorphic rock, they are formed from igneous or sedimentary rock, and it is formed from sedimentary rock, that is the limestone. Okay, so metamorphic, as already discussed, they are formed after considerable changes in igneous and sedimentary rock. Okay, and this process of conversion of these rocks into metamorphic rocks is known as what? Is known as metamorphosis. And this metamorphosis is due to the action of this changes. The stress could be due to water, heat, pressure, or combined action of any of them. Combined action of heat and water also. Other examples are slate from shale. तो shale से क्या बनता है? Slate बनता है. So slate is a metamorphic rock. So yeah, that is all for today. I hope you understand everything well, and we'll meet again with a new lecture. Until then, keep study hard and keep joining the session. I hope this session was fruitful for you, and every section that we are conducting are fruitful for you all. Okay, so yeah, that is all for today, I want to say, and thank you for